Hello, welcome to the program this morning. I am Jones Hussein, aka Citizen Jones. Now let's tell you this. 17 governors of the southern states have called for true federalism and, if you like, a restructuring of the polity. In addition, they are asking for a review of the federation account sharing formula, even as they declare their unflinching support for a united Nigeria plus a greater cooperation amongst the southern states. This is coming 12 long years since they last met. The meeting was hosted by Governor Akinwumi Ambode of Lagos State. Bayelsa's Sierriaki Dixon was elected co-chairman of the forum. Now, Imo's Rochas Okorocha was absent. He didn't send a representative. Now, ours must be a confounding federation. About 21 serving senators were governors in the course of the last 12 years, and most, if not all of them, were disavowed to talks of restructuring, devolution, and so on and so on. So it's cheering, though, to have southern governors root for a total overhaul of our polity. To us, ideas are like children crying at a church service. They must be carried out immediately. So let's meet and greet my guest today. Dr. Jide Johnson is a journalist. He's, by definition, Deputy Provost of the Nigerian Institute of Journalism. Dr. Johnson, I welcome you. Welcome.
It's a pleasure to be with you, Citizen Jones.
Good, good. And we have a Niger Deltan activist, a publisher, and he's been in the trenches, so to speak, for moons and moons on end. Let's meet and greet President Ogomarai. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Good day.
Gentlemen, the conversation is on formally. So, northern governors, the last time they met was June 2017. Southern governors, the last time they met 12 years ago. Something is wrong.
Well, it's better late than never, but we must understand the dynamics of politics. And I'm sure the southern governors are just waking up to their responsibility that for development to take place, there must be integration. Integration of geopolitical integration, cross-Atlantic integration. And the northern governors, like you said in your opening monologue, are constantly meeting. You recall that earlier this year, they were in the United States for a meeting, and it was not an accident when the World Bank president said that they should concentrate development in some certain section of the country. And we must understand that after election, we must play the politics of governance. And sometimes in the South, we're a bit divided. There is this mutual suspicion amongst the elements that constitute the southern Nigeria in terms of integration. But it is very good that they are meeting now. You could even see that it was only 16 out of the 17. The governor of Imo State was not present and no representative was sent concerning that. And I think it is high time that they understand that if there is a forum called the Northern Governors Forum, there should be the Southern Governors Forum. And even the NGF, I'm not sure they've hosted the meeting of the Nigerian Governors Forum in
the recent past.
In the recent past. And there's a forum like that in the United States of America where the governors meet and they meet with the president. Because you
we can break it down, Jide. In the southeast, you have the in the old eastern region, you have the Southeast Governors Forum and the South Governors Forum. They don't meet until there's an exigency, but that's not healthy.
We have said it.
Well, I think the problem is from the basics. It's unfortunate, but that's my thinking, and I have a right to it. Most of those of them we see in the forefront today as politicians, if you cast our mind back to those days, you see the role politicians play. Today, except the one to tell the truth, the level of patriotism is not there compared to before now. Otherwise, I can see how...
Had we ever been patriotic in this country?
You cannot compare in the eras of the Ambusali's,
or Second Republic?
The Second Republic, to this present dispensation. Today...
So we didn't build on it?
We didn't. We didn't. And that's why you see the elements of that period never featured in 1999. I don't want to use the word, but it's the truth. They rubbished them. We saw how Bola Ige was eliminated. In his hometown, he went home with the security, yet it was... You can't compare them. You can't compare Ambusali. The truth is, gradually, and that's why I think the present governors from the South, I don't know who much the idea and the concept for them to meet in Lagos. They are now seeing, probably comparing. Things are really changing. And most of them are not patriotic to the cause of their people they govern.
Yeah, Jide, the more things change, that's the picture you get here.
The more they look same.
The more they look the same. So change. What change are we talking about?
You see, citizen, you see, we run away from critical issues, critical questions as regards what makes me first and foremost to be a Nigerian. Am I a Yoruba man first, or are you an Efik man or an Ibibio man first, or is he an Yoruba man or an Ijo man first? So what constitutes, what makes me to be a Nigerian? And that critical question, we have not solved the problem of citizenship, we have not solved the problem of indigenship, we have not...
And settlership.
And settlership. You know, until we resolve that issue, until every Nigerian is first and foremost a Nigerian, that wherever I am from, wherever I'm giving birth to, my identity comes from birth. Your identity comes from birth. Citizenship by birth. Now, if citizenship comes by birth, then where does indigenship come from? Is there any basis for indigenship again when you have citizenship? So these are all issues that we need to resolve, because in the sharing of resources, in the sharing of allocation, these are critical factors that you use to share offices, resources, to share offices. Is it citizenship? Is it indigenship? Is it settlership? So if we don't, because that cycle, because we run away from that critical problem, every now and then, I asked those of you that were giving birth to before 1960, how would you describe yourself? Someone that was giving birth to in 1960, he would say he's from which state? There were no states then. Yeah. We only had regions. Are you getting my point now? Just imagine someone in your category might be from Southeast, then later...
I was first originally a Southeasterner.
Southeasterner.
What you now call Cross River Akwa
Ibom State. Now by geopolitical zone, now you are now South.
Yeah.
Now we now break it down. At the point in time you are Cross River. Now you are now Akwa Ibom. Are you getting my point? In your lifetime, the system had categorized you and defined you in 4 different dimensions. Now, until we resolve that issue, we'll still be coming back to the table to say, okay, how do we go about this nation? And I think we are waking up to that responsibility. When there was an attempt to create regions, the North refused being divided into 2. Are you getting my point? Because this idea of one North, could we have that platform of one South, and then we begin to negotiate as regards what comes to the Nigerian state. In the past, we used to share things based on 3: Southeast,
you know, Western
region, Eastern region, Northern region.
And of course, there was a Midwestern.
No, there was no Midwest. It was
okay.
Politics that brought that.
Yes.
It used to be 3. When we want to allocate things in Nigeria, 1 will go for the North, 2 will come to the South. Look at the structure now.
You know, the asymmetrical method of creating states started with the Murtala Mohammed regime, and we must emphasize this. Babangida regime, Abacha regime never helped anything. By the time Murtala left and birthed the Second Republic, we had 19 states, and the figure 19 haunted us for a long time. You remember, you know what I'm talking about. So Babangida created the states, he raised them to 30. Even so, it was asymmetrical. He had 16 in the north, 14 in the south. Abacha came, added 6 more states, made it 19 in the north. 17. And as we sit here, people are angling for more states, rightly, wrongly.
Well, for me to start, let me take a particular unique example. Ali Mosho local government is based in Lagos.
Here. Yeah.
Except you don't know it. If you visit Ali Mosho, inside Ali Mosho you have Egbeda, Iyanokpaja, Idimu, and so they have a boundary with Badagry local government. Ikeja.
Adodota.
Yet it's a local government, except we don't want to be honest. I'm not from Alimosho. I was born in Akwanga. I grew up in the north, school in the west. The truth is this. Our southern leaders always compromise because of what they are getting from the system. They allow themselves to be rubbish, their people to be rubbish. Otherwise, somebody created, the former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, created 37
SCDAs.
And then somebody rejected it.
No, the president at the time, not somebody.
Okay,
yeah.
You know, we're trying to place it.
No, it's not about playing.
Now.
No, hold on, please. Don't give me a policy. I'm saying because there are students of history listening to us and of politics, the Obasanjo presidency rejected the idea. And so it says, whatever comes to Lagos would be for 20 local governments.
Kano was 20, Lagos was 20 initially.
Yeah.
Today, you carved out Jigawa out of Kano. Jigawa is 33, Kano is 44. If you put Lagos old times and Kano old times, Lagos is 20, Kano is 77 local government. Don't forget, local government is a yardstick to determine what goes to a state.
President, but these local governments and states were created, and Dr. Johnson, were created by fiat, military fiat.
Yeah, factors were there about
they were created by military fiat, and like he pointed out, what role did our people play when this thing happened? And you know, in your opening monologue, we pointed out that you have 21 senators that were former governor in the National Assembly, and to legislate, to alter, and the amendment procedures for you to address issues. What role have they played to address injustices?
Considering also that these same governors largely were not disposed to devolution of power, you know.
Yeah, but
today they are to make laws for us.
Now they are not realizing that. I think I read in the papers this week when the governor said that local government administration will be the third tier of government. If the House of Rep has passed it, the Senate is waiting to pass it, and there's an indication that they will pass it because they are learning from the past. Because if you take the local government away from the structure of governance, and we look at the Las Vegas shooting, there was no governor that was not talking. It was the mayor. If you look at the Chicago issue, it was the mayor. And if you look at...
Mayor is like a local government.
Yeah, exactly. When 9/11 happened, that's what brought Giuliani into global national, because Giuliani was the mayor of New York City. So until we come back to the basics as regards the structure of government we have, you know, when people talked about federalism, separation of power, and now federalism is organic separation of powers. Organic in the sense that federalism is structural separation of power in the sense that you have the state, you have the federal, and then you have the local government. While at the other level is organic in the sense that the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive. So until we resolve that issue, whereby the local governments are responsible for what they are supposed to do, the state government are responsible for what they are supposed to do, you won't have... I keep telling people, the golden era in local government period are 1991 and 1992. Let anybody go and check the facts. That's when local government were doing projects. Why? Because by Decree 10, I think of 1991, Babangida administration established what is called presidential system at the local government level. That's when you have the likes of Willie Akilude in Mushin, Adeniji Adele in
Central Lagos.
Lagos Island. That's when you had real governance at that level. Yeah. And until we go back to that basics, we still be having the problem we are having. They call for restructuring, they call for resource control, and the rest of it. So once we address this problem, I think there will be no issue.
We are going to talk about the big man syndrome in this country. But before then, can we look at this? Ours is said to be an evolving democracy. Yes. Don't you think we are getting too long in the classroom?
True. If you recall, I said initially, the set of people that took over in 1999, because of whatever we have been exposed to some leaders before now, most of those who took over from 1999 were not patriotic and committed to their people and the country.
Are they now?
They're not. And that's why we're where we are. Today, I challenge, I stand to be corrected. If any local government is taking up any road project anywhere in the country, they're virtually doing nothing. No. They only live on salary. All the local governments.
But at the time, the governors were not favorably disposed to having funds, channeled directly to local governments.
I remember at the time in Bayelsa, River State, then no Bayelsa. Sagbama local government was having an opposition party in the local government council. And they were doing something. In Rivers then, Sagbama local government was in a position to the governor. So you see, today is either the governor picks his cronies, make them chairman, and they leave only to the governor.
Now let's come to the big man syndrome in this country. Jide, why is it difficult or impossible for the big man or big woman in this country to bring something momentous to the table when it matters most? Except when everybody now is talking about restructuring and all that.
Because in Africa we believe in personality and not in structures and institutions. We believe one individual can solve a problem. Simple. But if you look at it in history, every big man that has solved problem, either from any point of view, they build structures that last long after they have gone. And I've asked people, the president coming from your area, does he solve your problem? You have been to Sokoto, you have been to Katsina, you have been to Abeokuta. Yes. Are you with me? You have been to Niger. In fact, when Babangida had his, one of his sons had his wedding, they had to flew in through helicopter, the road from Niger to Minan to Abuja.
He's been to Toke.
You've been to Toke. So we tend to believe this big man can solve. No big man can solve our problem, except that we put institutions in place. It is institutions that solve problem. When you have a fair judicial system, when you have a vibrant executive system, when you have a robust legislature, like I've clamored, in 2019, everybody should be interested in who represent them at the state House of Assembly, which practically in most states are non-existent, at the House of Rep, and at the Senate, who are the characters we are setting, because they are the people that will make laws. Some of these issues we are raising could be addressed through amendment, constitutional amendments.
All right, let's look at the sharing formula. The southern governors said, look, we must go back to, adjusting it. Lagos State, particularly, the governor came out smoking, and he said something like, look, Lagos, if not that we had, a long line of governors who were very, very stoic, and said, look, we must do things right. You talk about VAT. Lagos generates so much,
above
VAT.
50%.
But you're splitting it amongst the states and so on. So they're asking for a rejigging of the sharing formula. Do you?
Well, I think it's in order to make that demand. Because clearly, you see, some states are really, apart from oil, Lagos generates so much of the federal purse. And yet, the factors to determine what goes to Lagos is controlled and put in place by certain persons who, we must be honest, we have that wicked mind I use. Otherwise, the Lagos local governments are not getting what Lagos is supposed to. And that's why we're thinking, in terms of revenue sharing, it should be based on what comes from your state. So you determine the percentage that will come back to you.
Which is now taking us to devolution. I wonder how related that can be to the sharing formula. What devolves from your state?
Yes.
The federal government has 66 items on the exclusive list. And in very many quarters, this is thought to be too heavy for a plate for the government, for the central government.
Now, I think more power should go to the local government and not even the state government. Now, let me put it across to you, citizen. If we are to walk from here to Abuja, how many days will it take us? But if we are to walk from here to Alausa, how many hours will it take us? Now, if I'm to walk from my residence to my local government headquarters, how many minutes will it take me? Now, it talks about access, access to the seat of power. Now, when too much items are on the exclusive list, the exclusive list, which is the exclusive preserve of the federal government. Now, there's problem. When
Akin from Magodo is here. Akin, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Fabulous morning to all of you.
Good morning.
And Dr. Jude.
It's a pleasure.
I would like to reiterate on what Dr. Jude has said. One of the interesting ideas that have been raised here has been the issue of Nigerianness, and I think it's very, very particular that we, as the country, should initiate a conscientious debate about what actually it means to be Nigerian. That is where the whole debate of restructuring will come into manifestation. Every other aspect does not matter right now until there's an alignment between all parties in this country to understand that there has to be a oneness in purpose, in identity, in social, economic policy and development. Until that, nothing is going to happen in this country. All they're just going to have is this perambulation or the political class, both military and the political class, twisting and turning us around. The events are there to prove to us that these are the things that are happening to us. Dr. Jide, kudos to you.
Okay, time. But we got you first time. He's talking about political parties. You say the more the merrier, but we are here, the more the messier.
Yes. Are there political parties in Nigeria? There are no political parties, just association of friends, band of friends coming together because they have quests and desire for power. Because
they are disgruntled about a particular...
The parties have no ideology, they have no identity, they have no structure.
True.
Now look, let's take APC for example. APC was established by the progressive element in Nigeria, an attempt which started in 1983 by the Progressive Party Alliance, which couldn't take shape. And in 1992, you have the Social Democratic Party.
Couldn't take shape deliberately so.
Exactly, because the big manism and the actors and players couldn't agree amongst themselves, which also happened in 1960 when Kwame Nkrumah invited Chief Obafemi Awolowo and Nnamdi Azikiwe for them to come together as one in order for them to save this nation. The same thing happened in 1983. Now, an attempt by the Progressive to come together was under the SDP, Social Democratic Party, which was formed by the People's Solidarity Party and the People's Front of Nigeria. Now, you had the opportunity in 2013, 2014 to form the APC. As we sit here, I can tell you, the conservative element has taken over the APC.
Let me interject here. Alaji Subai Alimosho, you talked about earlier on, is online. Alaji, I greet you. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, my point is, can I go on?
Go on.
Yes. My point is this. I salute the Southern governor for taking the right step. I salute the Southern governor for taking the right step now.
You're on.
Okay.
All right. The occasion of having the 17 southern states is salutary, but it goes further than that. We were talking about, just before the call came in, we talked about yesteryear, progressive elements thought about having a party and so on. So the idea of the APC was anchored in the same direction.
Yes.
But are we in sync? Are we in sync?
The majority of the players, the actors in that aspect were not sincere to the people's aspiration in the APC. A good number of the people actually embraced it, but the actors did not go. It's just like...
But let's talk about the people, gentlemen, the people. Is this thing about the big men and big women alone? What's the role of the everyday Nigerian?
Because of a level of poverty.
Is not involved?
A level of poverty, then even...
But just put it on hold. Divine from Apapa is on. Divine, I greet you.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, how divine to have you now. Let's go.
Yeah, please, I want to say that the issue we are discussing about Nigerian situation is all about restructuring. What are we restructuring? We should first of all take adequate check of our constitution. Until our constitution is being restructured, we cannot restructure anything. All these things are just political language. Until we begin to set a framework that will punish those that commit crimes, until those that steal government money are being punished, not only those that steal goods, that you jail them, until our frameworks are being, that is in a way that people will look at it and say, yes, I'm representing people. It is not an interest. To call to service is for you to serve your people. But they are there just for themselves. And we don't have any structure that will say, let's tackle them. Immunity is around them. You can do anything and go free. So the issue of restructuring is just a way of coming into 2019 and telling us that we are going to restructure. What are you restructuring? When we are being imposed by a constitution that is not being written by us. So we need to restructure. The first of all is the constitution. And let there be a framework that will hold these people that are serving accountability in whatever they do.
Thank you, Divine.
Thank you.
Thank you. As I said, yes, go on.
Let me just add this. Now, if you want to play the politics, there are senators representing the southern states. Can each of the governors invite the senators representing the state for a deliberation, or the National Assembly members, and you have a meeting? Okay, this is our idea. Go to the floor of National Assembly and raise this issue, defend this issue, lobby, work with your colleagues, and let's get these things done. And that's why I said earlier that in 2019, we must not only be interested in who becomes the president or the governor. We must be interested in the characters that will go to the State House of Assembly. We must be interested in the characters that will go to the National Assembly, because a lot of the deliberations happen in terms of structure of governance, happens at the legislature. Happens at the legislature. The legislature have the power of the approval and ratification of the estimates, budgetary estimates for the state government, and at that level, they could put the executive to test as regards what they want the executive. But we are not playing the politics the way we ought to play the politics. Yeah. Beyond that meeting, there should be a forum of all National Assembly members, plus the governors, plus the State House of Assembly, meeting together to bring about our agenda.
Let me quickly go to Ghana. Udoka, I hear, is waiting. How are you, sir? Akwaba.
I'm fine, sir. Good morning.
Yeah.
And good morning, your guests over there.
Good morning.
Yeah, about this issue of restructuring. Let's tell ourselves this week. What are they restructuring to start with? Is it not the same restructuring that Gowon and the Juku came to Ghana here? And after the negotiation of everything, Gowon came back and British told him, no, don't agree. Go to war, we will support you. And millions of lives was lost. Is it the same restructuring they are talking now? If this thing is not working, so far as British is not in support of all those restructuring that Nigeria are talking about, this thing will go nowhere. Because British know how far they are benefiting from the coffee of Nigeria. If they restructure Nigeria today in favor of the poor masses in Nigeria, British will get lost, and they don't want to do a business that they will get lost. Nigeria belongs to them. The only thing that we will do is that let's take this Nigeria back to British. Tell them that this thing you give to us is bigger than us. Please come and take your Nigeria so that we go back to who we are before they came. Oduduwa, go to your Oduduwa, go and build Oduduwa. Ariwa, go and build Ariwa. Biafra, go and build Biafra. This thing will settle everything. This Nigeria is bigger than us to start with. We can't handle it. Let's give it back to the people that give it to us.
All right. Edoka, except I'm a little, it's trifling to consider that the white man, the British, is gaining by all the hysterics in the country. I don't know how it gains. But then let's take this breather and return. This is This Morning on TVC. Please stay. All right, then, welcome back. We still are here discussing the Nigeria of our collective dream. 17 governors of southern Nigeria met in Lagos some 2 days ago and came to the conclusion we must restructure the polity. And the idea of restructuring might be at variance with yours. So you call us, you know the helplines, call us, let's share your views. They're also talking about the sharing formula and the devolution of power, a little something we had broached years and years ago and so on. So here we are. Gentlemen, the National Assembly is the engine room of any democracy. In America, one way of poking fun at the lawmaking body is, the question is, if the opposite of pro is con, what's the opposite of progress? It's Congress, they say. So bring it home to Nigeria. Could we say, could we say the National Assembly is for progress of Nigeria?
You see, it's unfortunate that the National Assembly, since 1999, has been controlled by
from the first National Assembly to the current 8th.
Has been controlled from 1999. Let's take 1999 as a case now. I think the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, and so now has always been controlled by the party controlling the executive. But you know the unfortunate thing, the National Assembly has always been at variance with the presidency. Why? Because the presidency does not know how to relate with the legislature. We have been fortunate or unfortunate, whichever side you belong to, whichever side of the divide, to have been under two presidents that have been former military head of states that do not operate with the National Assembly, emerging as presidents in 1999 to 2007 and from 2015 to date. As a result of that, the issue of lobbying, the issue of negotiation is not in their dictionary. And you can never get anything done with any National Assembly anywhere without lobbying.
Ola from Agege is here. Ola, how are you? Welcome.
Yeah, I'm fine. Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
And then good morning to your guests.
Okay then.
I think let me take from what Mr. Jide has said earlier. You see, this restructuring of the thing that we are talking about, you can never get it done without the National Assembly. Because the reason being, let me give you a typical example. When they are trying to amend the Constitution, when they got a situation whereby devolution of power, what are they doing? They voted against that very particular section. I didn't think that very particular section passed through. Naturally, this restructuring of the thing that we are talking about could have come to play. That is number one. Another example is this. I don't know when last did you be in Abeokuta to Ogun State. That very particular road has been very bad. And then when you ask the governor of that state that this road is bad, he will let you know that this is a federal road. I didn't think that the restructuring is come to play. We can be able to ask the governor that this road belongs to you. You have to put it in place so that it can be motorable for all citizens that pass through that state. But what really happened today is that you cannot call the state governor in order that come and fix up this road. He will tell you this road belongs to federal state. Even though some governors generate a power, they build a power plant, but they cannot be able to sell it to their various states. People that live in that state, they will say that you have to submit that power that you built to federal. We really need this restructure. And then the LI.
Thank you, Allah.
Thank you.
Alhaji Yakub, are you there? Alhaji Yakub is supposed to join us. I hope. Oh, Alhaji Yakub, I'm sorry. Many thanks. Now, look at the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the busiest, I dare say, on the continent. 18 years going, that road is still in the works. An 18-year-old child would have been at university from the day work started on the road through to now. The man just talked about a road A federal road, state road, local government road, and so on.
Lagos, Abeokuta, Lagos,
Abeokuta. I'm looking at Lagos, Ibadan.
There are two major roads that lead from Lagos to Ogun State, which is the gateway state.
You
go through Lagos, Abeokuta Expressway via Sangwater to Abeokuta. It's an eyesore. Lagos Ibadan Expressway.
Abeokuta.
Lagos Ibadan Expressway, Lagos to Ibadan. It has been ongoing for the past 18 years, like you pointed out. That's our trunk A road.
Oh, I mean, it's...
You know, when the road was commissioned in 1979 by Shehu Musa Yar'Adua, who was the second
Chief of General Staff.
You know, it was with pop and pegantry that he drove on an open Land Rover from Lagos, from Begaye, down to Liberty Stadium. And you need to see the picture of that road then, and you compare the picture of that road now, you begin to wonder.
Let me take you to Niger State. Joshua is waiting. How are you, Joshua?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, welcome.
How are you and how is life with you?
We are okay. I hope you are.
Yeah, fine. You are really representing the South, the political zone.
Okay, then.
And how are the fatherless in the house this morning?
Oh, yeah. This one is Southwest.
So
Jide is Southwest,
really
I'm a Nigerian, I'm not from Southwest.
The governors from the South, are you getting it?
You are on.
They are selfish. You will discover from 1968 to date, you discover they have been giving funds, are you getting it? And no any visible work project. Most of the projects, if you go to the Southeast or you go to the Southwest, you will discover, no, even let's say South, discover most states, are you getting it? There is nothing to show for all the funds they have received since 1960 to date. Hope you are getting it, sir. Hello?
You are on now.
So you discover there is no any tangible project that Nigerians can really pinpoint. Nigerians from those very zones. But if you come down to the north, even the small money they get as allocation, they still use it to do tangible things. All this thing boils down to what is obtainable in 2019. Some of them knows that in 2019 they are not going to return. Some are still really trying their best. But there are some of these governors that are not doing anything, nothing there to. But they are just looking for one thing or the other to say that is the reason why they did not perform. I am telling you that except our leaders walk in the light to serve the people, Nigeria can never really come. It's a pity what is obtainable. There is no any motorable road in the south.
Many thanks, Joshua. Gentlemen, many thanks. But let's demystify this thing. My governor fixes a road, he rolls out the drums. I'm using my governor as an example, you know, not in the strict sense of the, you know, he builds a road, he rolls out the drums. Jide, President, it is the business of a governor to build roads, fix bridges, fix infrastructure. That is not the dividend. These are not dividends of democracy. You know, we haven't quite overgrown that.
Except you don't want to accept the fact. It's a tradition.
Yeah, but I'm saying...
Which is bad.
In the 21st century,
yes,
the followership is very key here.
Yeah.
The governor says dividends of democracy and building roads and so on. These are not... These are the statutory... statutory jobs assigned to the governor.
Citizen, just imagine we live in set and people waiting outside to clap their hands for us for doing this job.
Oh, yes.
It is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous for any governor or for any president to expect the citizenry to clap hands for him to do his basic function.
So, sorry, I have a Reverend Dominic here. Rev, I greet you. How do you do?
Good morning.
Yeah.
Longest time.
Oh, we did.
Good morning.
Good morning, Reverend Dominic.
Yeah. Jide, please, there's a video that's going on the social media for 2-3 days now. This is a primary school in Nigeria that people are sitting on the tire. Do you know this primary school is not in Sokoto? This primary school is not in Akwa Ibom. This primary school is not my own state that has been badly covered in Imo State. This primary school is in Lagos State. And let me say this. How could we on earth want to restructure what? When common things cannot be done by our people. Primary school, benches and chairs and block walls. In Lagos State, let me give an example. In Gonde Kosi Road, there's a primary school here. Every time I pass that road, my heart bleeds. And I don't want to blame the state governor of Lagos State doing well. What is local government chairman is telling Lagos State governor about the school in his domain? Yes. That has no chair, that has no roof, that's disabled. I mean, what is local government chairman doing? If we went to restructure and we cannot put basic things, if restructure we put chairs in primary school, we restructure put good teachers in school, we restructure put roof on our head. Please, we should go first things first. We must restructure the men of who govern this nation and not geographical place of Nigeria. Thank you, Joe.
I think the issue of primary school, to my knowledge, is under both federal government. Federal government takes control of the federal of primary schools. I think under Obasanjo administration or thereabout with Superman, whatever. I don't have clear knowledge, but I need that federal government plays a role when it comes to primary education in Nigeria. We're not holding brief for any governor. What we are saying in effect is that once roles are clearly defined, once responsibility are assigned, then you can lay the blame as regards that. Now, primary health care and primary school should be the exclusive preserve of local government, not even the state government and not even the federal government. Then we can hold the local government chairman responsible. That's why people are calling for devolution. That's why they are calling for devolution. Like before Dominic called in, that you talked about people rolling out drums. I don't know the way we celebrate project commissioning in Nigeria, whether they do it in US or whether they do it in...
You get appointed whatever in this country, unbeknownst to you, your clansmen, your kinsmen, and will go to churches or mosques and organize Thanksgiving services on your behalf. So it's more like it is our turn and so on. Something largely wrong with followership, which... Now let's go to Elisha, and we have a gentleman waiting. Welcome, sir.
Hello, sir.
Will, yeah, Will, welcome.
I'm trying to join the GVC and that's a Southern Government Forum back Restructuring.
You are on now.
Okay. Yeah, good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Are we in business? Are we in business,
yes.
Will?
Good morning. Mr. Jide Johnson.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
I'm passing the message to Mr. Jide Johnson.
Yes.
Go on.
Somebody that I know very well. Yeah, from Iju.
Yep.
Yeah, we're in business.
Look, ignore your television. Okay then, please keep your calls coming in. I just said a while back, followership is key. I must not fail to rub this in. Followership from Sokoto to Calabar, from Nguru, Maiduguri to Port Harcourt. It's very, very, very important. They say any man can withstand adversity, but give him power and you realize who he really is. Question the electoral process, because we must also rub this in. The electoral process is still giving us a lot of jitters.
Yes.
They say the man who casts the ballot does not have the say. The man who counts has the say.
In that aspect, the man who casts the ballot,
yes,
after casting, ends there. Whoever emerges takes over with the godfathers.
Voter education tells you, make sure your vote is counted.
But let's be honest. Let's be honest, except we don't want to tell the truth. Elections here takes a different dimension.
Only Addition has joined us from Ojo. Addition, how are you? Good morning. Yeah, welcome. Additional, speak up, lift up your voice. This is hardly audible. Hardly audible.
Good morning, sir.
Okay,
Good
then.
morning, sir. Good morning to your panelists in the house.
Welcome.
The southern governors calling for restructuring. Well, if every talk is to move forward, It's nothing, it's welcome development. But I want us to know one key thing, is that for the masses, how does this call for their restructuring affect the masses down there? See, I want us to know one thing. The masses in the masses in the north, in the south, in the east, and the west, it want good governance. And if we keep on, just like what Tajiri just said, how much love do our leaders love their country so much? If I love my country so much, I will not eat and see somebody who is going on hunger. Or I will not keep more money in the bank somewhere while people are crying of not being paid. How much love do we have for our nation that you think you will buy 80 million naira cars and somebody somewhere is not being paid? You see, the hallmark of this is based on love. The other countries, Americans, you are running to other developed countries. They have passion for their country to serve their own country. And so, in this our case, we talk too much. The politicians, they are beginning to talk so much. Every seminar here and there, no action is being carried out. So, my brother, what I want us to know is that the electorate now, what it is paramount now is that they don't know who they are going to elect, who are going to cast their votes in the elective post.
20.
They must not get so well.
Many thanks. Many thanks, Additional. Many thanks. Gentlemen, those who can corrupt the public mind can do anything in this country. So corrupting the public mind is something I want to bring on the table. Yeah, the man has talked about 2019. Maybe this is what is playing out, maybe not. Because at a time like this, Jide President, it is difficult to determine which one you don't like, the country or the government. You know, so at a time like this.
You know, you made an attempt to describe me first as someone from the Southwest. I've never seen myself. Just to drive it home. I've never seen myself as someone from the Southwest. And until we have that mentality, this nation will never. I see myself first and foremost as a Nigerian. An American sees himself first and foremost as an American. Now that talks about.
But I can puncture that because the forms you fill in this country will ask first
Which passport name, do I carry?
Your name.
Does he ask for my state? Does my Nigerian passport ask for my state?
No. But the form you fill, your name, religion, state, local government. Even until you do away with that.
Exactly. You
can only wish
that's
you
were
were first in Nigeria.
That's where the issue of the identity comes in. That's the mindset that our leaders need to find out. Now, when I emerge as a president, I won't see myself first and foremost as a Yoruba man. I see myself as the president of Nigeria. But when I see myself as someone from the Southwest, I usually see myself from the prism of someone from the Southwest. And that's where the corruption of the mind comes in. Now,
okay,
our mentality and attitude.
Let me take us to Accra, Ghana. Bishop is waiting. How do you do, sir?
Yeah, good morning, sir. My brother.
Welcome.
And good morning, sir. Your guest, Jide, and the other man over there.
President.
Yeah. Your people, you are doing a great job. And what I want to keep in the topic of today about Southerners coming together that they want Nigeria to restructuring is a welcome development. For a decade, they know that how Nigeria restructuring is not favorable. How can a governor that's supposed to be govern his state, when you are going for campaign, you will enter to take a paper, but immediately the masses voted you in, then you will turn to bulletproof. Now, if you come to Anambra State, now what they are not entering taking a paper. At least if Nigeria restructuring, everyone will see himself as an equal. The same way is in the Western world. The people that give us democracy, the people that said no, that Oduduwa should not answer their name, Biafra should not answer their name, Arewa should not answer their name must be Nigeria. That is where the problem started. If we did not restructure whom we are, and they forget about the concoction that the British give us as a factory, we are going nowhere. When Hausa man goes to power, he will start taking his people.
When an Yoruba man goes to power, he will start his people because he's a different people, amalgamated.
All right, Bishop. Bishop, got you first time. Again, the same old palaver,
Yes.
you know, the same old palaver. I said, at a time like this, you are not sure which you don't like, the government or the country, you know. And yet we want a saner country. When we say our unity is non-negotiable, what in essence are we talking about?
When
Do you know?
say unity is non-negotiable.
Yes.
I was born in Akwanga. Am I not supposed to claim Akwanga?
I was born in Lagos. Should I be Lagosian?
It should be a Lagosian because you are giving back to New York.
Anything that concerns me, I have to go back to Patani. Patani doesn't know me.
Can we quickly take Okora for Abia State, Arochukwu specifically?
Good
Welcome.
morning, sir. Good morning, gentlemen in the studio.
Welcome.
Yeah, when I saw the governor, when I heard they were going for a meeting, I was very, very happy. But at the end of the day, when they came out with the restructuring, I was somehow disturbed because all these governors that said they wait for the meeting, how many of them, let's say for example, Akwa Ibom and the Abia State, my own state, can Akwa Ibom State governor or Abia State governor bring in somebody from Akwa Ibom to come to Abia State or Abia State to bring someone from Akwa to serve as a commissioner? Is it possible in Nigeria? Or a Rivers State governor to bring Igbo man to serve as a commissioner or secretary of state in the state? Is it possible? These are the major things that are supposed to start at the beginning. Because now look at the issue of roads. Port Harcourt, like what Ato just said, look at Port Harcourt to Aba, look at how the road, look at how the road is. It's a death trap, and we have senators. Now you talk about the pension. How many of them have paid? Now you talk about the state universities, like University or Abia State University in Nutru. How viable is the place? Do they employ non-indigenous from other states to that place?
Yeah, Okorafo. Okorafo, where we are now raises more questions than answers. Thank you very kindly. Yeah, so let's begin to look at it from the top.
My take is for the governors to take it beyond a talk shop. They need to have a meeting with their representative at the National Assembly, both their House of Rep member and state and their senators. If all of them should come together, have a blueprint, have an agenda, table it, let the National Assembly legislate on the matter, and we get things done. And until the state governors know how to work with their representative at the National Assembly, they see them as partners in progress and not as adversaries. Because in most states, the senators and the governors are usually at loggerhead. And you don't tend to find that, with the exception of Kaduna State in the north. And we must play the politics of administration. Then we can get things done for our people, and this nation can move forward. We must put the interest of the party, of the section we are from. We must put the Nigerian interest first.
Omarai, how do you close?
I think I buy the idea. The concept is first Nigeria before where you come from. It's unfortunate, but it's not the reverse is the case in this situation where first your name is mentioned, they want to identify where you come from. The moment they identify, whatever you say becomes valuable if you are from the same place. But once you're not from the same place, you're not talking sense. It's unfortunate. And that's not in Nigeria we grew up to meet in the 50s and the 60s. It changed. It changed.
All right, and this is very, very crazy. In ideal situations, we should not be afraid of our governments, as we presently have, but I dare say that it is not yet night, even though it's not uhuru, as we always say. In faraway Kenya, elections are ongoing. In spite of the troublous times, people have died and so on. Bring it home to Nigeria. We elect a governor in, we elect a president in to serve us. The governor is the chief servant. But then, let's stop here. I just hope we won't look out the window someday and say, oh, we have the best government money can buy in this country. I'm out of here. Let me thank the Backroom Boys for bringing the show to you. The program will be back tomorrow. Thank you very kindly for your time. Take care of yourself.